Hello everybody, welcome back to C&S Corvettes. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. I know that we did. We actually took Thursday, Friday off last week to spend time with our families. And so we didn't produce a video, but I did want to hope that everybody had a good holiday. We certainly did. Now, on to today's subject. I gotta tell you, I wish today's subject was something that was fun or in the holiday spirit. Well, it is a holiday spirit, I guess. It's a bit of a Corvette horror story. So in my best Doug DeMuro, this is a 1995 Chevrolet Corvette Coupe, and unfortunately, it is a horror story. Let me explain. The customer brought this car in about a week ago. He had had it at a dealership that shall remain unnamed for about 3 months. And he took it in because he feared he had overheated the car and it wasn't running well. So the dealership had the car for 3 months, replaced the OptiSpark 4 times because they couldn't get one to work. They said that the heads were warped, so they pulled the heads, sent them to a machine shop, had them planed down, put everything back together, said the car was good. This is over 3 months it sat at this dealership. And after 3 months, they called him and said, "We've done all we can for your car, please come pick it up." So he went in, he got his bill, and his bill was $8,200 and change. And this car will not go over 2 miles an hour, and it sounds like a locomotive. Something is deeply wrong with the engine in this car. Dr. Ray took 2 days, went through everything we can external, computers, sensors, ignition modules, all that stuff. And it didn't make any difference. Car just won't run, which tells us that there's something deeply wrong with the inside of the engine on this car. Now, we haven't jumped into the engine yet because now this poor customer is at a crossroads. He made 2 mistakes. Number one, he let them keep it for 3 months, and when he got it back and it didn't run, he was so discouraged, he put the car in his garage, put a cover on it, and waited 2 years to do anything about it because he was so upset. Well, the problem is, in that time, the engine certainly didn't get any better. The fuel went bad throughout the entire system, and the car just isn't worth any more than it was worth 2 years ago. And now this poor guy is stuck with a problem. He's either going to have to put $6,000 to $10,000 under the hood to make this a running, driving car again after the $8,200 he spent and got nothing for, or he's going to have to sell this as a non-running project and take a real bath on the value of this car. I mean, this is probably a $2,500 parts car at this point. It's a beautiful car, but without a running engine, what are you going to do with it? And that's the horror story, that this guy loved this car, and this is the situation he finds himself in. And now we're going to talk about why. So the question becomes, how do you avoid becoming a statistic in the, man, my Corvette really got screwed up and it cost me a ton of money, like that gentleman? Here's what you do. You want to try to stay away, if possible, from the dealers. Not that the dealers are trying to hurt you or anything, but especially if you own a car that is more than 10 years old, there's really nobody at the dealer that's going to know that car. And if there are better parts to repair your problem in the aftermarket, the dealers can't use them because they are contractually obligated to put GM parts on, which means you could be getting an inferior part, or the part that GM used to make may be completely discontinued, and your car will sit there for months, as this gentleman's did, and they won't be able to fix your car because they won't use the aftermarket improved reproductions that aren't GM branded. Now, the other thing that we have to talk about is culture. And we're talking about the culture you're going to find inside a shop. Whether it be a large dealer on a main thoroughfare or a small, independent shop like ours. What you want to stay away from is what we call the GED culture. Now, I know most of us think of GED as a graduate equivalency diploma, but what we're talking about here is going to be more about the somebody finishes your car, they did an okay job, and they go, good enough, dude, send it. You don't want a shop that has the GED mentality. You want a shop that is going to actually care for your car long term and have a relationship not only with you that is full of excellent communication and value per dollar, but you also want to have somebody who is taking care of your car much like it was a patient in a hospital, not just something being run through and it's car number 14 of the day. You also get a lot of more value from a concerned, independent shop, especially one that's been around for a long time and has good reputation. Let me explain why. Let's say that you need to take your Corvette in to have a nominal repair done. Let's say you need to have both headlight motors rebuilt. Okay, on a 94, 95, C4, C5, that's a pretty common occurrence. And the price is fairly nominal. I think we charge $175 a side, parts and labor. But for the purposes of this video, let's say that the parts are $100 and it's a 2-hour job. Okay, so let me describe the difference between someone who is a specialty shop and a dealer or a larger corporate entity and how they view that job. First of all, if you're taking your car to a specialist, that shop works on cars like yours every single day and has for years. So when the car comes in, once they do their initial diagnosis, they get to work and they know what needs to be done. A lot of times, if you take it to a shop that only sees 1 or 2 Corvettes a year, they are going to have to spend a given amount of time going to school and educating themselves on how to sort out the codes they're getting, the problems they're seeing, diagnosing, and then figuring out how to do the job. Now, there's something in the automotive repair industry called book time. And all shops kind of rely on this to provide a fair baseline for what a certain job is worth. So if this job that we're talking about is worth 2 hours, the shop that does this every day on your specific type of vehicle can probably take care of that job and have it done in an hour and a half. And they spend the other 30 minutes going over your car while it's in the air, looking at safety items, checking belts and hoses, checking your tires, checking all the things that they know could be problem areas on your car. But you're not paying additional for that. That is included in the service. Whereas if you take it to a dealer or a large garage that doesn't just do your type of car, out of that 2 hours, 30 minutes of that, you're paying them to go to school to learn how to fix your car, which means there isn't time to go through and look at other things and give you an additional benefit that helps you care for your car long term. So this is something you really want to think about when choosing who and what shop you want to have a relationship with. Is what are you getting per dollar? Is this place dedicated to the long-term health of your car? Is it dedicated to responsible and intelligent use of your available funds for the things the car needs today, not necessarily the things that the car may need in 6 months to a year? You should be made aware of those things and let it be known that we are monitoring them for you. But you shouldn't be forced to do repairs based on the fact that, I need to get that car in here and let's get it all done at once. If you want it done that way, great. But really, it should be more on the needs of the car, your financial abilities, and your schedule that shop should be working. The other problem you have is with the big dealers, if they have a problem they can't solve, they will happily pull your car, park it out back of the shop, and it will sit there until they have time to go back and revisit it, re-diagnose it, try to find parts again. The magic number seems to be about 3 months. That's where owners finally either pull their car and say, I'm done with this, I don't want to wait anymore, or the dealer finally calls them and goes, listen guys, there's nothing we can do about this, you need to come get your car. The problem is, either way, you're still getting a bill. Small independent shops aren't going to be able to charge you, or at least shouldn't be able to charge you, for not having a fixed car. If C&S Corvettes or ABC Automotive or anybody else takes your car in, I mean, diagnostic time, that's a legitimate charge, an hour maybe. But if I can't fix your car, I'm not going to charge you for not fixing your car. You know, the nightmare story that we heard about on that red 95, I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine being stuck in that position? My heart breaks for this guy because he loves this car. But it's almost irretrievably broken, financially at least, for him. And that hurts my feelings, and it makes me sad for the hobby. So, in sum, pay attention to who you're dealing with. Pay attention to the ethos and the mindset of the people who are working on your car. And if you get past about the 1 month point, the 2 month point, and you're not being communicated with, my suggestion would make yourself pretty present at their counter saying, I need to hear about my car today. Don't let it just sit there, because you're probably going to end up getting a pretty healthy bill and you may not even get a fixed car for it, so be warned. I hope you found this information useful. If you have, like and subscribe, and follow us on our future adventures. Thanks for watching.